Lordi are back with their newest album, Limited Deadition, which is apparently, I think, is their 19th album, which is insane. They've been cranking this stuff out. I consider myself a Lordi fan, and I have listened to a fraction of these, and I'm only talking about the sort of main studio ones here. There's also the Lordiversity albums, which are sort of, apparently the band consider them to be full studio albums, so I haven't even dipped my toes in that. So bloody Nora, they have been going at it for a while. It's amazing that they're still producing content at all, really. It's pretty consistently every year or two since 2002. But anyway, they've just released Limited Deadition, and I have been listening to it as much as I can over the last couple of days to try and formulate my opinions. And it's interesting. I was trying to figure out whether or not this is going to come down on the starting to sound a little derivative side of things, or was it going to continue to have that sort of Lordi charm? And well, I think in short the answer is a little bit of both, which is possibly a boring cop-out answer, but it has got several really great standout tracks on it. Songs like Legends Are Made of Cliches, Philharmonic Orchestra, Fangoria. These songs are all amazing. I do feel like there is some filler in there that just feels sort of just more of the same. And it's also an interesting sort of transition I feel like Lordi have had over the years. They've gone from being I guess quite heavy shock rock, right? But if you look at the lyrics to some of their earlier songs, like Sexorcism and Shake the Baby Silent, Naked in My Cellar, this stuff is shocking to listen to and to see, to be honest. The music video for Naked in My Cellar is quite... I'm kind of amazed that I've not heard people criticize them for that. The song's a banger, which does help, but I have noticed they have started to transition away from that kind of stuff and lean more into the sort of I don't know, retro throwback puns, a lot of puns. Some of them are really funny, I'm not gonna lie. Skelephant in the Room is genius. I mean, Philharmonic Orchestra is a fun name. Even Limited Deadition, the name of the album, is it's pretty witty. I appreciate that. But I don't know, sometimes with the lyrics I started to feel like they were just kind of saying scary buzzwords, basically. They have their moments, but generally speaking they kind of conform to that. So talking of tracks, there are a couple of songs on this album that they just slap. There's a key change in Legends Are Made of Cliches that absolutely blew my mind the first time I heard it. It's a very standard key change, but I just love it. Listen to this. See? It pays off so great, and there's a couple of other moments, not specifically with key changes, but stuff like that follows through this album that are really, really great. You also get fantastic songs like Fangoria, which after having listened through a couple of times, I think it's my favourite track on the album. It's got a reference to the piano line follows a ballet. I can't put my finger on which one it is specifically, and I know that multiple people will watch this and just immediately know what I'm talking about, and they'll be like, it's Swan Lake or Sugar Plum Fairy, but I cannot remember off the top of my head which one it is. But just listen to this intro. This has got a bit of the old Lordi in it that I really appreciate, the way this keyboard is so janky. There it is. And then suddenly you get this... almost, it's just quite repetitive, but it's fine, just but it has this repetitive nature to it. It's kind of thumping away. It's become so addictive. It's a nice offbeat, I know, just sort of melody that goes in there with that keyboard line, and then you get to the chorus, and the chorus is so camp, but it's fantastic. It conforms to a lot of sort of old hair metal glam sort of style cliches, but it does it so well that it completely escapes it. Just those backing vocals moving in there and sort of doing it. It reminds me a little bit of the chorus of Sinful Love. I don't think that's a completely unintentional reference. I mean, Blue Oyster Cult are the masters of shock rock, they're not shock rock specifically, but this kind of occult rock thing. It doesn't start much earlier than them, to be honest. So I love that kind of reference. Fangoria, absolutely amazing song. I've made individual videos about Syntax Terror, Elizabeth and Metropolis, I think. Elizabeth is a great song. It's a properly old school kind of classic rock. It's got this kind of like Bon Jovi-esque feel to it, which I really like. It's got a really good example of how the bass comes through actually as well, that song. Syntax Terror again is good. It's quite fast paced. It really makes me think of some of the earlier, like, heavier aspects of Lordi's sound, which I also really appreciate. On repeated listen, I still can't quite get on with Metropolis. I just find the chorus to not be worthy of the payoff. Again, it's probably like, you know, the lighter in the air type song of this album. It's got this kind of like almost overly epic feeling, but I just find the chorus to be quite monotone. It's fine. It's not offensive, but yeah, it's kind of fine. There's a couple of other songs in there that are strange, like Collectible is a really weird song. It's just like, it's very, very slow. I think it might be the first time I've heard Lordi go like really lean into an acoustic song, which is kind of cool. Like, it's interesting to see, but the lyrics are just kind of, they're too silly is the problem. Like, the Collectible is cool. It's about, I think he's like collecting, he's like a haunted toy, like a plastic demonic toy, I think is the sort of core concept of that song, which, to be fair, actually has legs as a concept, but the lyrics are fall slightly too far down the route of parody, and it's more noticeable in a song that's kind of a more slow emotional ballad in its delivery, which is interesting because they've proven that they can kind of do the more emotional side of stuff in the past. Like, It Snows in Hell, to me, is quite a soulful song, and it uses their sort of theming in quite a clever way. There's a lot of interludes in this album, and they're quite bizarre. I mean, I don't dislike them. There's like a wrestling one, and there's like an action figure advert, and like a sort of like advert for a crazy gym or something like that. They're all kind of fine, but for the flow of the album, I actually think they don't do it any favors. They make it kind of feel like it lasts longer, because a lot of them aren't that short either. Like 10 seconds, 15 seconds is one thing, but most of these are 30 seconds to a minute, which I don't know. I don't know if they help the pacing of the album, if I'm honest. But again, there's lots of like great examples of just like good musicianship and songwriting just across the entire album. The guitarist, anytime he's given a solo, they're always really, really good. He like goes from kind of shredding to more haunting. It's nice. Often doing a lot of sort of like back and forth with the piano, which I like. The bassist, when he's given time to shine, when it's some of the faster songs where he's being left really to kind of establish the pace of the song, he really shows up to be great as well. The keyboard player, most of the time, I think that the keyboard lines running throughout the entire thing really, really help them just across the board. They're very core to the sound. They're all good. Mr. Lordi is mostly pretty great. Again, he somehow manages to growl his way through an entire album without getting boring. There's a couple of ones where it sort of starts the same, where you just kind of for a little while, which, yeah, there's a few of the like less inspiring songs where I kind of got bored of that, but generally speaking, he's a amazing singer for what he does, and it's not something I would have necessarily thought about, but yeah, it's a good album. If you like Lordi, you will like this album. It's, I think, better than the last couple of albums I've listened through. Like Screenwriters Guild didn't grab me. There's a couple of good tracks in it, but I didn't care for too much of it. There's a couple of good tracks in Humanimals, but even still, I think this is one of their better offerings in recent times. The music videos that accompany the album are good. I would say this is a solid, it's like a 7.5 out of 10. If you're a big Lordi fan, maybe more like an 8. We'll go with something like that. But anyway, this is obviously just my opinion, and I'd love to hear whatever you guys have got to say in the comments. If you're a big Lordi fan, let me know. If you're not a Lordi fan, let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this most recent offering, so let me know in the comments. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.